Alrighty. Thank you, Emma and Sheryl, for sharing your story. Very funny. Okay. First question, Emma. And feel free, I'll direct the questions to specific people, but feel free to jump in as well if you want to share anything. But Emma, you seem very confident, certain, and defined when you speak. Was this something, were you always like this?
And I really don't know what changed. I used to be terrified, and I used to get worse as people say, oh, you get up there and you relax and you get better. And I used to find I'd get worse and I'd get more and more nervous. And I don't know, I just stopped feeling nervous. And I just feel when I'm talking to you that I'm just talking to you. So I don't get nervous anymore.
How about yourself, Sheryl? You seem like you were very confident in front of everyone. Given your experience with business, do you think this has made you more confident as a person?
I don't know. It's a really weird question, but I don't know. I think over time, I've done like coaching because I have to speak, and not have to speak, I want to speak, but I've done some coaching sessions in the past, and one day the best thing a coach ever told me was like, stop trying to like please everyone in the room, because a third of them will already hate you, a third of them will love you already, and a third of them are just like sitting on the fence. But then if you try to like change your tone of voice and who you are and what you're trying to say, the people that love you will hate you, so you'll just end up with everyone just hating you. I'm like, I'll just be myself then.
Sheryl, you said at the start, when you first worked as an IT professional, your uncle was someone that inspired you a little bit to get that job. Was that driven mostly by his lifestyle and what is being financially compensated?
Well, I do have a story. So when I was 8 years old, my parents asked me what I wanted to do with my life. And I said I wanted to change the world. And I think they were hoping I would say, yeah, I'd want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. And I went to Macrob, which Macrob is like one of those selective schools. So everyone was super smart. Everyone got over like 99 for the ATAR score. And, for me, I was not a studious. I was one of those students that would wag every Wednesday. And I literally didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to change the world. And I think when I just like started baking cupcakes, something just kind of took over me, and I just thought, this is what I want to do with my life. And I think that's really evolved as well, because over time I realized actually I don't want to be a pastry chef. I don't want to, it's actually very hard to bake. For 3, 4, 5 years, I was baking from scratch every morning, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, working 18 hours a day. It was really tough. And I don't want to bake for the rest of my life. And I realized that I want to inspire other people to follow their dream, which is why our catchphrase is like hatch that dream. So I think I've been more on this entrepreneurial journey to inspire other people to follow their dreams.
And is that similar to for you as well, Emma? Or were you driven by this passion for health and for fruit juice, really?
No, I wanted to have my own business because I didn't sort of talk about my CV and what I'd done, but I was on a time limit. But I'd worked in for big corporates, multinationals, American firms, and I'd done an MBA in France. And I'd sort of realised at some point along the way that I wanted to have my own business, and it was because I wanted the freedom. So to me, it was a trade-off between working for a big corporate multinational and having lots of power where everyone wants to deal with you because you're working for Mars or for Cargill or someone. But you've always got that feeling of someone's wondering where you are, and you're not making all the decisions. So it was all about freedom for me. Then I had to find something that I was actually passionate about doing.
Now, you both mentioned that in your journey with business, there are moments where there are high highs, low lows, and you just got to work through it. But was there a moment where you just said, this is too hard?
Every day. No. Yeah, I haven't given up yet. So, but it is really hard. I think if I had known how hard business was, I probably wouldn't get into business, not to scare anyone away from it. That's why everyone says you have to be passionate, so passionate about what you do, because you can literally just give up so easily. And I think you really have to be driven by this like desire and burning passion to have no other choice than to make it work.
Yeah, I probably don't feel quite this. I mean, it is really hard, and things are always going wrong. But I still don't. I still find it's not impossible, and it's and you know I still like doing what I do. I mean, I don't think, oh God, I'm really over it. I get sick of the things going wrong, but you know, more often than not, they're not going wrong. And I'm just finding as the business gets bigger, I'm really enjoying running a business that's bigger. And the problem with it being bigger is that if things go wrong, they go wrong more, you know, on a bigger scale. So it's more frightening. You can't just fix it with what you got on your credit card. But you know, it's much more in control, and I can get better people working with us. And it's, you know, I think maybe I'm more of an entrepreneur that is more of a business grower rather than a business starter.
Now, earlier we had Demi from We Teach Me present before, and one of the things that she had on her slide was, I am not a girl, I am a warrior. I'm kind of curious, have you ever felt any gender-related issues in terms of being strong woman leading your own businesses? Have you ever felt it helped or hindered?
I mean, my jobs have always been in very male-dominated areas. I was discriminated against once, and I only found out about it a couple of years after it had happened, when I'd got a job with Cargill, which was a commodity trading firm, and I'd applied at the same time for this other firm, which was another American firm called Louis Dreyfus, and I just hadn't got the job, and a guy from the same course I'd done had got the job. Anyway, I got a new boss at Cargill, and she was friends with the guy at Louis Dreyfus, and she said to me once, "Oh, do you know why he didn't get that job?" And she said, and I said, "Oh no," and she said it was because they didn't want to send a girl to the States because they didn't think you'd be able to work the hours. But other than that, I mean, I went to Dubai a few months ago. I'd never been to the Middle East before, and I loaded up with headscarves and was thinking it was going to be, you know, very discriminatory, and I wasn't really looking forward to it. And I was amazed. I didn't have to put on a headscarf the whole time. I went to Jordan and travelled all over the place, and I didn't find any discrimination. So, I mean, I think people, to an extent, respond to how I expect them to respond. But, you know, I'm sure there is discrimination that happens, and I'm just, as usual, not aware of it.
Definitely when I was in the consulting world, but I didn't think I was discriminated against until many years later, and I was like, oh, actually, you know, it was a boys' club, and I don't know if it's still a boys' club now, but I think part of being an entrepreneur, I get to kind of create my own little world or business. And I think if anything, it's been an asset being a female in business. Like, I get so many opportunities to go to events and speak and things like that because I put my hand up, and I'm scared shitless most of the times. Like, when I started, I had no idea how to speak. I was quite an introvert, and I just went out there and I said yes to everything. Like, anytime anyone asked me to come along to an event or a networking event, whatever it was, I would say, yep, I'll do it, I'll speak. And it kind of led me to having more opportunities. So, yeah.
Now, Emma and Sheryl, you both touched on the topic of relationships in business. So, Emma, it was a friend of yours you've known since you were 12, I believe you said, in the swim squad. And Sheryl, you said Tin, who was an ex. Can you share some of your experiences or a story about what it's like to work with someone that you have a personal relationship with? Were you scared?
So Tom, my business partner, I don't have a personal relationship with, and that's all fine. What I didn't say was that after 4 years, when we started the vans and we got out there and started selling, my husband joined us. And since then, it's been a family business. So we've been in business together for, he's been with us for actually almost 10 years. And that has been incredibly difficult. And, you know, we had to learn, and luckily we're still together. Tom actually in the meantime has been married and divorced. Luckily his wife never wanted to work in the business. But you know, learning how to treat each other well and to not speak to each other in a bad tone of voice and treat each other with respect. And you know, I still don't get it perfectly right, and Michael still doesn't get it perfectly right, but we're certainly miles better than we used to be. And, you know, talking about work at home and, you know, all the usual stuff. I mean, I never wanted to be in business with my husband. But he's got a fantastic skill set. He's the sales guy in our business, and you know, we needed a really strong sales manager, and so we need him. But neither of us particularly want to work together. But we're sort of stuck together.
So Tin is a really special person. No, he's really great. I mean, I think again we're very complementary in skill sets. He's like the big vision guy that has all the crazy ideas and, you know, wants to fuel the growth. And I'm a little bit more risk adverse, and I'm passionate about what I do, but I'm really scared about taking too much risk. So in a way, we kind of balance each other out. But yeah, we're not together. We've been broken up for a couple of years now, which is fine. We had to go through a lot of counselling. He would never show up to the counselling kind of sessions, but that's okay. And that's why we probably took a break for a year last year, where he kind of worked on his own ventures, his million other ventures, and I kind of did the same. And we had a operations manager kind of run our company. But I've kind of decided to step back in just a little bit this year because I still enjoy it. I just realised how much I miss it. And we work really well together now. We don't see each other often, which is awesome. We see each other maybe once a week. But yeah, it is difficult working with your partner.
I'll have one more question and then we'll throw it to the audience. What is your biggest learning in working with a friend or a partner or a family member?
Tone of voice.
Yeah, you just have to respect each other, and I think we kind of lost that throughout the way, and kind of had to regain our trust and respect for each other. So, yeah.
Does anyone in the audience have any questions for either Emma or Sheryl, or both? Yes.
Emma, I've got a question for you. You mentioned before about the cafe industry, so I'm wondering what the hardest part was in regards to breaking into that industry.
It's not very hard. I mean, you don't have to make an appointment. You just go and see them. The hard thing is that usually they'll say, I need to talk to my business partner, I need to talk to my wife, or I need to talk to someone, and you probably have to go back 3-4 times to make a $50 sale. So it's a lot of work.
Thank you.
I actually wanted to share something. We run a restaurant for 8 years, and we've been having Thomas the whole time. And what I find, the trust and respect comes out every side of the company. It's how you deal with the suppliers, with the cafes, how you treat the bills. If you're a little bit late paying the bills, hospitality happens. It's just a flexibility. If you compare it with the big suppliers, it's just a turn off. With the Coca-Cola. So the respect and trust comes from the heart, and for us, that's how you get the loyal customers. And for us, it's no brainer. If another juice company comes up, we have Thomas, we have a fish.
Thank you very much.
It's a trust you build, and it's very unique. And I think it's the only one with Thomas we build up that trust. And I think that's your strongest. So if you look at maybe to share your loyalty and your customer retention, it's probably extremely high because you're just in and it's no brainer for people to keep you. So, and my question is, maybe for the new customers it will be difficult because the market changed. But for the old ones, which you've been there probably for 8-10 years, so it's just I want to keep that confidence.
Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you.
Just on that, Emma, you say one day you wake up and you want to expand to China, or you want to expand your product range. You make it sound so easy. It's not that easy, is it?
No, it's not easy. But I do actually think it's all about finding the right people. So, and it's a bit of luck. I mean, we've wanted to be selling in China for years, and Michael, my husband, is before we worked together, he actually had a business in China, and he's been to Nanjing 50 times, and he loves all things Chinese. So, you know, we keep on going up there, but we'd really believed we had to find the right partner to do it with. The same for all our international markets. So with the international markets, we've got a great guy in the Middle East, in Jordan, who and most of them seem to be starting up their own businesses. So the guy in Jordan, his wife had grown up in Australia. Her father ran Royal Jordanian Airlines in Australia. She'd done biomedical engineering, so she's super smart. And he just hounded me from Amman in Jordan for 6 months. So I want to talk to you, I want to stock your product. And I was thinking, he only sells Manuka honey in Jordan. I'm thinking, I'm not, it's not really going to, and he doesn't have a business, and he had a shop fitting design business. Anyway, he kept on hounding me. And anyway, I went there and I met him, and I really liked him and his wife. And now he's setting up a distribution business in Dubai. And so it's all good. And then with China, we'd been talking to all these people and meeting all these different people. And then this woman called us, and who was in Sydney, and she was representing a guy who was starting up a new business. So a guy who's a Hong Kong billionaire who has a freight forwarding business wanted to set up a distribution in China from scratch. He owned 90% of it. This other guy owned 10%, and they're setting up this business. So it's totally nothing. They don't have a business. So we liked them. We went to see them quite a few times, and so we decided we'd take a punt with them. And he's the guy who just sent me the WeChat message saying he's got the products registered for. And what I realised in Shanghai is that it's really a tough competitive market with lots of local product, and lots of imported orange juice or milk. But things that are tricky and fiddly, like our products which have spirulina and ginseng and stuff, they're tricky to get through customs, as we've seen. It took us 6 months. Actually, it's a great barrier to entry. And so once we get in, all our usual international competitors aren't there. So, but for me, it's picking the right person, a company.
Yes, we have 3 questions. Let's start with the middle, then we'll go down and then up.
When you expand your business to China, did you have any problem with the Chinese government? And if yes, how did you go about it?
Well, we're only just starting, but so it's taken us 6 months to get these products registered with CRQ. But we're selling the deal we've got is we sell everything FOB Australia, so we don't have to deal with anything, hopefully. And they're responsible for everything from the shores of Australia.
We had a question down here.
Emma, Sheryl, thanks for sharing it really from the bottom of your heart, and it's great to hear. Question for both of you, but starting with something Emma said. You said that at the beginning you have to give away a lot of freebies or sponsoring events. Do you think that when you start out, especially as a new product, new brand, is giving away freebies or discount is the way to go to get
the thing I didn't probably say, but I really believe, is that it's really important to be very thrifty when you start a business, and we weren't thrifty enough. We spent far too much money, probably because we'd worked and we were used to hiring people and having colleagues, and how Sheryl started is a much more admirable way of starting than the way we did. And so we were putting product out, and we kept on doing it for far too long. I mean, the first lot of product we had to, so that was a good way to do it. We didn't have a choice. But after that, we kept on, hundreds of thousands of dollars when we couldn't afford it, because we thought it was marketing. And I mean, I don't really know whether, probably half of it was good. We probably could have done half of the amount we did. I just think it's easy to spend money, and it's very hard to get money coming in.
Oh, well, we still do a lot of sponsored events. But yeah, we just kind of pick the people that we want to work with and we know that we're going to have a good partnership with. So rather than just continuing everyone wants free cupcakes for their event. Like, we get hit up 10, 20 times a week. But but we try to do it in different ways. So, for example, our cupcakes only last a day. So at the end of the day, if we do have a lot of cupcakes left over, we normally not sponsor, but we donate them to organisations like Eat Up, where they, distribute these cupcakes to underprivileged kids in schools that don't get, packed lunches, and also Second Bite as well. So we kind of just do things like that where we're giving back to the community, and we let people know about it. And they often, I don't know, I guess, we do sponsor a lot of other events as well. But, I think we're lucky that cost of goods for cupcakes is quite low, I guess, compared to, I don't know, actually. But, yeah, cupcakes, don't cost that much.
We have one question up here.
This is a question for Emma. So I'm a big fan of the social initiatives that you have in place for your products, but do you feel the kind of wider implications or responsibility to the amount of plastic that's in the world, and do you maybe even try and offset that with the social initiatives that you have within the community? What's your thoughts on your responsibilities there?
I think, I don't tie the two together. We've got to put our product in something. And the choice is glass or plastic. And glass, I actually, glass apparently takes a lot more energy to make than plastic. So from that point of view, I prefer plastic. Plastic's much lighter, much more efficient to travel, doesn't break. So, I think that's, in general, plastic is a better packaging as long as it's recycled. The biggest thing the thing I find most annoying about all this recycling of plastic is, the government is proposing to put on the collection deposit refund scheme, which I just think is a terribly inefficient way of reducing the plastic. To me, what they should be doing is putting more recycling bins around, so wherever you go there's a rubbish bin and a recycling bin, because in the home all of us, we all recycle, we all very happily put out our recycling bin, and we have a very, very high collection rate of recycling in the home. On the street it's impossible. You don't want to carry around an empty bottle, so people throw it in the rubbish bin, and that's the whole problem. The council should put a recycling bin there. Visy would go and collect it. The other thing, by not having by putting the collection deposit refund scheme in place, it means people actually take the plastic bottles that would have gone into the home collection away from that, so it becomes much less efficient, and so the cost of recycled plastic goes up. Onto that point, we're the first company to start using recycled food grade plastic in our bottles, and so you might see, and we do, but one factory uses them, one factory doesn't, so they're 50% recycled. The trade-off is they look a bit grey, so it doesn't look quite as nice. But we thought, well, actually this is a good initiative, and so we partnered with Sustainability Victoria to do that. And they just needed someone to get going and be prepared to actually take a punt on it, and because we were a smaller, more nimble company, we were able to do that. So we did that. At the other factory, we're not using recycled plastic just because of the way they operate. The bottle is much lighter, so we're just using less plastic in it. So, I think, it's terrible, the plastic, you hear about these mountains of plastic everywhere, but I just think, we've got to be practical. We have to put stuff in something, and I don't think going to glass is really the solution. I think it's probably environmentally, well, it's got its own issues. That's a long answer, sorry.
I've got two final questions, and then we'll take one or two more questions from the audience. In your entire journey, what are you most proud of?
I think it's working with my team. There's been a couple of staff that have been with us for, they worked with us at the very beginning when we started Cupcake Central, and then they went off and did their own thing. Now they're back again because they're starting up their own business. And so they've realised that, for them to start up their own business, they still have to work part-time. So they're coming back into the business now. But just to see, how we've kind of inspired them to go off and start their own business is really inspiring, and for me, yeah.
I laugh because in a way it's just surviving, staying in business. But I think, it's actually also around the team. I mean, I really love the team that we're now getting together, and I like the fact that we've got people with their own areas of responsibility and they own it, and they're acting and feeling like a business owner because they own this area of our business. And it's just such a great feeling when we get great people working and taking ownership of something. It's really fun. It's good.
And if you could jump back in the time machine, back to when you first started, and give one piece of advice to the young Sheryl, the young Emma, what would that piece of advice be?
First one is to meditate. Like, it took me 10 years to figure out how to meditate. But I do something called Vedic meditation, which is transcendental meditation. So I do that every morning. That has changed my life. And secondly, I wish I'd started earlier. Because I was always thinking I was too young to start a business, but I wish I'd started younger when I was early.
I would say be very, very thrifty, and remember that everyone is going to be very eager to help you spend money, and it's much harder to get them to pay you money. I think stop believing that there might be a silver bullet, that there's something that's going to fix all the problems. Stop believing that someone's going to come along and solve all your problems. Believe that I have to solve them myself. And don't try to do everything at once. It all takes time. Everything takes longer than you think I think it's going to do. It's going to cost more than I think it's going to cost. But also try and enjoy your life as you go along. So I try and I get up in the morning, and I don't like rules. I don't really like having to do this at a particular time. So I just do it when I feel like it. But I get up and I just do a bit of stretching. I do it for 10 minutes. So I feel like it. If I do it for 20 minutes or an hour, and I'll just plan my day. And I just find that getting up and planning my day in the morning, that really helps me be much more efficient and focus on this thing called the rocks, which is, the big things, not the small things.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes, we have time for 2 more, so we'll take this one here. And then, was there a hand up there? Yes. Okay.
About vision. So when you guys started, what was your vision when you started, and what did it change with the time, or did you always thought this is where I want to get to, or how did that evolve?
I think ours has evolved. We were super premium juicers. We probably always thought we wanted to have a bigger business. We didn't want it to be just a small business. And I think probably our ambition of where we're going to go has evolved, but we're still sort of in the same space.
Yeah, I think vision is an odd one, because I didn't think I would have League of Extraordinary Women when I started, and just kind of evolved that way. And now I think that I want to go into the tech space. So I don't know, vision is forever evolving. And I think if you are so set on just having this one particular outcome, then you'll actually close yourself off to all these other opportunities that come your way. So our vision for Cupcake Central it's sort of similar, but it's not 100%. Yeah.
And one final question up there.
Yeah, you spoke a lot about having the right people around you, and some of the parents that may be hiring and firing people. I'd like to know if you agree with hire slow, fire fast, and if so, who's the quickest person you fired?
Yes, that is 100% true. Quote. You just have to fire them quickly. If you know that someone's poisoning your company in terms of the culture, you just have to get rid of them. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing on the hire slow, because we hire people that are, we're not paying someone in a van an awful lot of money. We don't hire that slow. We basically see if we think they've got the right attitude, and then we put them out in a van with someone else for a week as a trial, and they either work out or they don't work out. So we like that approach more, and allows us to keep moving on.
All right, can everyone please join me in thanking both Sheryl and Emma today.